How many people, be it celebrities, creators, have we seen that they were not qualified to be in spaces, but they are there, man? Just take a look at Kai Cenat, IShowSpeed, KSI, man, and take a look at me now. What if every word you spoke became a promise you wouldn't break? Imagine a life with no room for excuses, no wiggle room between intention and action, just raw unapologetic follow through. What will happen if people acted with full consequence?
My people have a saying: if you're caught peeing by the roadside, keep peeing until you finish. Here's a train of thought. Either way, whether you stop peeing or not, they're going to tell everyone they caught you peeing by the roadside. In other words, once people have made up their mind about you, the damage is already done. There's nothing you're changing or taking back. There are some people who will always have something to say. If you sneeze too loud, they'll say you're seeking attention. If you keep quiet, they'll say you're proud. If you start a business, they'll say you are a dreamer, they'll laugh at you, they'll say you think you're better than everybody. But then if you fail, they'll say they saw it coming all along. At this point, even if you breathe wrong, they will write a thesis about it. People will always narrate your life from their level of understanding. Their judgment isn't about you, it's about their perspective and their angle of view. So if they're already calling you a dreamer or shameless for starting what you're doing, why not finish it? Some of these people didn't chase their own dreams. They cannot stand to see you being the one chasing them. You that they raised, you the small boy that was eating dirt just a few years ago. You're the one that wants to be the president of your country. Are you high on crack? You must live your life with conviction. You can't live your life editing out what people have said or think about you. That is not your job to do. Because once they already pass judgment against you, hesitation is not going to change anything. In Uganda, Bobby Wine went from being a raga star to a presidential candidate. If he stopped halfway, the headlines would say he's a failed musician and a failed politician. He went all the way, and now he has global respect and recognition, and he stands as a beacon for hope of African politics. If they catch you peeing by the roadside, keep peeing until you're finished, because if you rush it, you may even pee on yourself. You can't undo the path that you've chosen to take. You can only own it and see it through to the finish line, because in this world, they'll call you crazy for starting, but then they'll call you a genius when you succeed. Not everyone can see farther into the vision that you have, even if they had a telescope, because remember, the ones crazy enough to think they can change the world are the ones that ultimately do.
There are two things that I took from that video: delusion and living life with conviction. Britannica explains that delusion is a rigid system of beliefs with which a person is preoccupied and to which the person firmly holds despite the logic of absurdity of the beliefs and a lack of supporting evidence. Meaning that your mind is not right, that this guy is crazy for even coming up with that idea or trying the A's, the B's, the C, you know? Now that we've set base on the meaning of the word, we have to now establish on how to live the state of mind. I came across this article of this brilliant writer. I'm gonna link his work and many works of these brilliant minds in the description box below. So after this, please go and continue feeding your mind with intellectually appeasing materials, right? This writer says that we owe ourselves something better. All these other things we want to do, we owe it to ourselves to at least try. Maybe you want to open a surf shop, so go open it. Go bankrupt in 3 days. Great. Now go back to prison. At least you tried. Didn't you ever get told that as a kid? As long as you tried your best. It's only scary because you focus on the negative. You focus on the scarcity. What if you focus on the positive? Instead of visualizing yourself opening a bankrupt surf shop, envision yourself opening a good one. Maybe not even a good one, just an okay one. Might even turn a profit. People often say they're afraid of failure. That's why they stay in the cubicle, in the bubble, in this box. But what they're really afraid of is the success. That's why they stay in that box, in that safe room. Our deepest fear is not that we are inadequate. Our deepest fear is that we are powerful beyond measure. There is nothing to fear out here, at least nothing scarier than the things you already face every day. Stop being afraid. Stop living in scarcity. Because living in scarcity means you only ever see the obstacles. This speaks to many of us. It speaks to me, right? Because of course we're going to be living this fear. What if I'm not gonna make it? And all those kinds of questions, man. So after this, achieving this level of delusion, I found that there's this level of optimism you must have, because pessimists will come on your path. You'll find your family members, teachers, your boss, your friends telling you that you won't make it, you cannot do this, that, but you don't listen to them. Why? Because you're a man or woman who is living with conviction and audacity. Let me first explain to you what these words mean. The writer says that the more I grow, the more I live with the uncomfortable realization that God wants me to step out of the flow, to lay down my reactions, and to live by conviction. Google further dumps it down perfectly. Living with conviction means guiding your life by firm, deeply held beliefs and principles, acting with integrity even when facing pressure, sacrifice, or popular opposition. It involves aligning actions with core values rather than conforming to trends, resulting in a purposeful, courageous, and authentic existence that resists compromise. This makes sense because many tend to live in a reactionary life. As the writer says, as a child, I simply fell in line with the culture and expectations around me, allowing myself to be carried along. Sometimes the flow caused discomfort, scraping as it did through shallow waters or taking me in over my head. But it is easier to go with the flow than to fight it. Such a life is peaceful. Though it lacks depth, it is a life of tradition, of security and happiness in the world as we find it, of avoiding difficult questions. Many seem to stay in the default stream of their lives. Others break away, often in the teenage years, and begin to live in reaction. I did this too. For a while, I thought about life according to that which pushed against me. I never rebelled against God or my parents, but I made decisions and set standards by responding to triggers and emotional hot buttons. Reactionary living can feel very good. As most of us know, we feel alive when we live this way, but ultimately it is just as shallow as default living. As a reactionary, if life stops pushing me, I stop responding. My passion does not live apart from its impetus. That last part really got to me. It really spoke to me, ladies and gentlemen. My passion does not live apart from its impetus. Or impetus, I don't know. Meaning what? Your passion cannot exist on its own. It's inseparable from the force that drives you, or rather drives it. In other words, what you desire is born from what moves you. This implies your passion isn't random or self-contained. It comes directly from a deeper push, a pain, conviction, belief, anger, love, purpose, or calling. Remove the impetus, the force, this zeal, and the passion dies with it. Living with audacity is having the fearless confidence to pursue goals, ask for what you desire, and take initiative even without being fully qualified or having guarantees. It involves replacing hesitation with action, embracing risks to create a thick, rich life, and believing you belong in rooms you have not yet entered. How many people, be it celebrities, creators, have we seen that they were not qualified to be in spaces, but they are there, man? Just take a look at Kai Cenat, IShowSpeed, KSI, man, and take a look at me now and in the future, man. And you may be wondering why I'm putting myself in that equation, because I know my time is coming, man. Maybe it has come, man. Even let's say you believe in fiction, right? Or the Bible, right? You say it's fiction, right? Many of these people were not even in rooms they were meant to be, right? Like, for example, Joseph, man. I like that example. Or even David. Joseph had this dream, right? He had this dream that his entire bloodline is gonna bow down to him. He told his family, all that kind of stuff, and no one believed in him. And his brothers were jealous of him, and they sought to kill him, but they did not. And they ended up selling him for pieces of silver. Along that path, right? He never diverted his belief from God, right? From that, him being sold to Egypt, he became one of the highest ranking officials in the land of Egypt. David, when Samuel was coming to anoint the next king of Israel, he came into the house of Jesse and he brought out all of his sons, right? And there was no conviction coming out from the sons that he was meeting, right? And Jesse then remembered that he also has a son called David, who was also a musician, so to say, and he was herding the sheep, right? He was a shepherd. They called out to him and he became the man for the job in the future, man. Of course, he faced adversities, but he became one of the greats. There's Esther, there's Ruth, there's Nehemiah, ladies and gentlemen, right? And that is from the Bible, man. And real life, maybe your mother, your bro, you get me? It is fascinating, man. It is, I feel like these are fundamentals of life we were never taught. I found this other brilliant article with the heading, Living in Audacity. The Power of Radical Consequence, which asked, what if every word you spoke became a promise you wouldn't break? Imagine a life with no room for excuses, no wiggle room between intention and action, just raw unapologetic follow through. What will happen if people acted with full consequence? If they did exactly what they said they would? If words were always followed by actions? What if there were no gaps between intentions and real outcomes? This again just goes back to the Bible. In the book of Proverbs chapter 4 verse 23 to 26, it says, be careful how you think. Your life is shaped by your thoughts. Never say anything that isn't true. Have nothing to do with lies and misleading words. Look straight ahead with honest confidence. Don't hang your head in shame. Plan carefully what you do, and whatever you do will turn out right. You get to see that they are parallels, man. What the Bible is trying to say and what this writer is trying to tell us, man. They are fundamentals in life. These are things that we should embody and within us, man. It should be our character. Yeah, that's a very good word, a character. That's a character that we should have, man. The writer goes on to say that I wasted no time pondering, hesitating, or planning for things that will never happen. I felt only the freedom to act, liberated from insecurity and fear. There was no room for them. It cleared away all the fakeness in my life. I lived with a clean slate. What surprised me the most was how this brought out the most creative and intensive version of my life. When the question is no longer if, but only how. You stop wasting energy on self-doubt and second-guessing. All your willpower and strength are focused in one thing, getting it done. I understood what I genuinely wanted and what I did not. Optimism became an automatic response to challenge, and my relationships grew in depth and truth. I lost friends who weren't real and grew closer to the ones who really mattered because, of course, along the way, you're going to find the people that align with your mission, right? I discovered there's no true creativity without consequence. Creativity without action is just random ideas. Creativity without responsibility is daydreaming. If you want to create something meaningful, you have to follow through and own it. I felt free, but I was fully responsible for every thought, every word, and every action. Acting with consequence has a positive impact on social well-being and economic productivity. Less money wasted on empty plans, less need for managing and scheming, fewer bureaucratic roadblocks. Learning happens faster, problems get solved quicker, and stagnation fades. Imagine what we could achieve together. Even if you're not convinced by the argument for personal freedom, there is undeniable value in acting with consequence for all of us. And that, ladies and gentlemen, is living with audacity for you. It is fascinating how a word can have such deep meaning when expounded, and it has truly spoken to me, and hopefully it has to you as well. As Seneca says, life is long if you know how to use it. It is not that we have a short time to live, but that we waste a lot of it, meaning we all have a purpose. I'm not purporting that quitting your job is the ideal solution, because I don't know what you want. And I'm not those kind of gurus. I'm not even a guru. I'm just a kid who's trying to figure these things out, right? Who's questioning the whys and the ifs, right? We live in a world that values security. But if that security places you in a position where you're deeply unhappy, the real question becomes, what can you do within that constraint to introduce meaning or happiness into your life?